Morning, everyone. I think we can get
I'm
started.
glad I'm not the only one that happens to. That happens to me as well, and I didn't know why.
I have no idea. I just pulled it off the printer because I have it electronically, but it's my backup. And
Yeah.
I can only see half of our meetings. So, Gail, you may have to fill in the pieces.
Well, mine all printed today, so I'm happy.
I am responsible for having loaded the toner, so that might be part of the problem. Okay, so we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. It's just after 10 o'clock, and a reminder to anyone attending publicly, this meeting is being recorded through a streaming process. It's also accessible through streaming if you go to our website. Today, our meeting is public meeting number 354, and I'll let Commissioner Cameron note that today we have a record-breaking moment, and that is, you're on mute. We have our three female commissioners who will be presiding over this meeting today, and that is a first. So that's nice. I think we're up to the challenge, frankly. Yes, an all-women majority today, and I think that Commissioner Zuniga is celebrating his dad's 81st birthday, which is lovely. So we'll get started with a call to order public meeting number 354. Today is Thursday, September 9th, and we'll get started with the minutes. Welcome back, Commissioner O'Brien. We hope you had a nice vacation. Oh, no, we don't have any minutes.
No, just a roll call. We're all here, and then we
just a roll call. Commissioner Cameron.
I am here. Good morning.
Commissioner O'Brien.
I am here.
We're all set. And Todd, you'll be keeping track of us today. We're going to get started with the administrative update. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. So for the first item on the administrative update, I'm going to turn it over to Loretta Lilios and Bruce Band to give you an update on what's going on at the casinos.
Thanks, Karen. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, commissioners. So since Bruce and I gave our last administrative update 3 weeks ago, things are continuing to go well. All three licensees are continuing to monitor any updates to COVID-19 related orders and guidelines. At Encore, the IEB issued an approval last Friday for expanded space in the former buffet area that was renovated, and that approval allowed Encore to open its sports bar and for the sports bar to commence operations over the weekend. I understand it was very popular and has allowed for the addition of about 14,000 square feet of space. There are two casual food amenities in that area that will have their grand opening this Saturday. That's the Shake Shack and the Frank and Nick's. Those amenities have been in the process of hiring new employees who have been in the registration process. At MGM, August marked its third anniversary of opening, and last weekend, the Commonwealth Lounge and the Knox Bar reopened to guests. The Commonwealth Lounge did have and is expected to have live entertainment in the nature of jazz bar type music on weekend evenings, Friday and Saturday evenings. This weekend, MGM will be assisting the Mass Mutual Center in hosting the Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies. That's a collaborative arrangement with the center to collaboratively attract visitors together. And Saturday is the induction ceremony where the 2021 Hall of Famers, including the Celtics' own Paul Pierce and Bill Russell, will be inducted. I think Bill Russell must already be in the Hall of Fame, and that this as a player and this time is as a coach. At Plain Ridge Park Casino, they had a second public vaccination clinic on site at the property yesterday that was conducted in partnership with the DPH. It was open to team members and the general public, and I understand it did result in the addition, allowing them to boost their vaccination rates among their employee population as well. They are in the process of expanding hours of operation at some of their amenities and adding beverage servers as they are able to get additional staff. I did want to mention that this expansion of some operations has led to the addition of some new employees. I did want to recognize our licensing team and GEU who have been responsive and flexible to accommodating those increased numbers in a timely way. I know Bruce is on the call. He's available to give you some operational updates on the gaming side as well, and happy to try to answer any questions that you might have.
Operationally, during the two weeks, there really hasn't been anything substantial to report. Operations has been going very smoothly at all three properties. The sports bar at Encore was highly successful. Large crowds were there. Things were very smooth operationally. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Commissioners, questions for Loretta or for Bruce?
No questions, but just an interesting report that it sounds like they're remaining to keep things safe as they do open a few more of their facilities. So that's good news.
Yeah, and interestingly, the opening also allows, the more space allows people to have more space to spread out through the property as well. So,
right. Good point. Thank you.
And some new jobs, correct? So that's great news.
Excellent news.
Yeah, Commissioner O'Brien, are you all set? Or do you?
I am. I wanted to make a note. I noticed an article recently too that when Big Night is reopening some of their facilities, Memoir being one of them, they're going to be requiring either proof of vaccination or proof of a negative test when they do some of their events. I was pleased to see that. It'd be interesting to see how that implementation happens in October when they actually start. But I was actually pleased to see that they're taking that.
Okay, we'll follow up on that and try to report.
Yes.
Anything else? Karen?
Okay, so the next item on the administrative update is just an internal reopening plan update. So as you're aware, the commission voted at the last meeting to reopen our Boston offices on November 1st. So just want to give you a few little updates on that progress. The commission did vote on a policy, so that policy was finalized in accordance with the commission's directives at that last public meeting, and that has been provided to staff. HR is working on a template for hybrid work requests. So anyone that has a job that may be appropriate for some kind of hybrid work, there's going to be a process to work with your manager and come up with a request for that. And also HR is in the process of verifying the vaccination status of our team, and that the way they implemented that has gone very smoothly, and there's been really good response by the team here at MGC. I think their expectation is that that will be completed later today. We had a deadline of September 9th. And if there's any stragglers or anyone that's not captured by today, the HR is going to follow up with those individuals directly. So that process has been going very well. I think the only addition is that we will continue to monitor the public health metrics and public health recommendations as we go along. We know that there's a lot going on, and we'll continue to monitor it and keep staff updated on what's going on with our plans and with what's going on in the Commonwealth. So that's sort of where we are. I'm available for any questions, and then Commissioner O'Brien and Commissioner Cameron are also on that working group, so they're available to comment as well.
I just want to commend the HR team and the working group and you, Karen, for the process that you came up with for the verification of the vaccine. I thought it was really practical, smart, and I know it was, consistent work for the HR team, but I think I heard Trupti say that it also gave her a chance to see folks, and so there was some good fallout by just checking in the way that they arranged to do this. So very smart. Gail, Eileen, commissioners?
Again, I would just like to thank the team. I know that I'm part of it, but the team is they come up with all the good information. They're well researched, well thought out by the time we even have the meeting, to be honest. So I just want to thank everybody for their work and collaboration, because it's really helpful to us moving forward as an agency. Really, really concerned with keeping everybody safe, and I just want everyone to know that. So thank you.
I would
Commissioner?
reiterate, and a special shout out to HR, because they've had, it's maybe short 10, 15 minute, meetings, but a lot when you add up everybody in the agency.
A
So
lot,
they've
including
done-
evenings. They did.
Correct. They're accommodating the shift work, et cetera. So they've done a really great job to get that done and get it done by close of business today, which is what we were asking for. So a special thank you to them.
And a thank you to the entire team too for, getting your appointments made. It's, as Commissioner Cameron said, everyone's concerned about our safety and our health, and making a return to the office an appealing option. And as Karen said, we're going to continue to watch the public health metrics. I wish that they were steadier in the right direction, but things are really still in flux. So, I appreciate the policy that we've executed, and as Karen says, we'll continue to monitor everything. All right.
Okay, so then the final item on the administrative update, I'm going to turn it over to Director Lilios to introduce Heather Hall publicly.
Thanks again. So I am really pleased to officially acknowledge Attorney Heather Hall, who recently joined the commission as the new Chief Enforcement Counsel for the Investigations Enforcement Bureau. The position, heading up the IEB's Office of the Chief Enforcement Counsel, plays a critical role for the IEB and for the whole commission. It's a legal role, and it's also an investigations role. And in the position, Heather will manage the background review process that's performed for suitability and licensure on qualifiers, vendors, and casino employees. And she'll also oversee the administrative hearing process involving applicants and licensees who seek review of IEB decisions on licensing matters. She'll work closely with the Senior Enforcement Counsel and with all the other divisions in the IEB: licensing, state police gaming enforcement unit, financial investigations division, and the gaming agents division. And her responsibilities will require her to work with all divisions in the agency, really. She has a wonderful skill set and background for the position. For the past 3 years, she's been the Chief of Investigations at the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination, the MCAD. And before that, she worked for the Middlesex Sheriff's Office, first as Deputy Chief Legal Counsel, and then as the Director of the Internal Investigations Unit there. She also served as Deputy Chief Legal Counsel for the State Police and as Assistant General Counsel for the Parole Board. She counseled law students and alumni at the Boston College Law School Office of Career Services, and she was a law clerk for the New Hampshire Superior Court. I knew her at the very beginning of her legal career when she worked as an assistant district attorney in the Appeals and Training Bureau at the Middlesex DA's office. And I first got to know her at that time. And as she has progressed in her career, she has really acquired a unique blend of legal experience in the public sector that includes criminal, civil, familiarity with regulations, and as I mentioned earlier, that legal and investigative components. She has a quick legal mind. She's a hard worker, high standards, and I know she'll be an excellent colleague. As you know, I've held the position of Chief Enforcement Counsel before her, and I'm really excited to have her fresh perspective at this important time in the agency's life cycle. She's only been here for a little over 2 weeks, and I can attest that she's jumped right in and is already making important contributions. So it's really my pleasure to introduce Chief Enforcement Counsel Heather Hall in this forum to you.
Thank you so much, Loretta. I am so happy to be here. I definitely have some big shoes to fill knowing that you've been in the role for some time now. And I definitely feel fortunate for this opportunity. So I have been here for a relatively short time, but I've been learning a lot. And I really appreciate how helpful everybody has been. And, I feel very impressed at the different people that I have interacted with so far. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to grow and learn more as I continue on the path with the commission. So thank you so much again.
Heather, welcome. I've already had the chance to sit down. We thought we were going to be meeting virtually, and we actually were able to meet in person, which was a real treat. As we've been working so much virtually, to see somebody and spend time with you personally was a treat. Welcome. The good news is Loretta's around the corner. The good news for Loretta, you're now around the corner. So we're very excited to build this role and know that it's going to be an exciting challenge, but one that you're fully supported by a great team. Commissioner O'Brien, Commissioner Cameron.
I just want to say welcome. What a resume. It sounds like we're very lucky to have you on board. And already I see a really positive attitude and, want to dig in and learn. It's a great team. I think you'll find that with interesting work. It's never the same. So just welcome and thank you for being interested in joining our team. It's a really an excellent team.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Just welcome. I know how lucky you are to be working for and with Loretta from your past experiences, and she says the same about you. So I look forward to meeting you at some point face-to-face in the near future. But it sounds like you have the capacity to hit the ground running and already have. So welcome to the MGC.
Thank you as well, Commissioner.
Yeah, so that concludes the administrative update for this morning. Thank you.
Great. And I know that the entire team joins us in the welcome. The virtual setting is difficult, but we hopefully be all gathering together and getting to meet Heather in person, as well as the other individuals who've joined us during this time. All right, moving on to Dr. Lightbound's report. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. Today, the topic we're going to discuss is the Racehorse Development Fund benefits for jockeys and drivers. This is part of statute chapter 23K, section 60C, number 3. The Racehorse Development Fund, as commissioners are aware, is split into 3 different buckets: 80% to purses, 16% to the breeders, and 4% to health and pension benefits for the horsemen. Part of that also says that the commission will determine how much shall be paid annually by the horsemen's groups to the thoroughbred jockeys or the standardbred drivers organizations for health insurance and other benefits. So today we're here to discuss that. The commission did ask for public comments, and they were due May 18th. We did get comments from the New England Harness Horsemen Association, representing harness horsemen, the New England HBPA representing the thoroughbred horsemen, the regarding the jockeys, and then we did get comments from jockeys Abba Kabasa and Edwin Molinari, and those comments are all in your packet. We did ask for further information from the Jockey Guild and HBPA, so there is a second memo from each of those groups in your packet as well. So I'm going to start with the Harness Horsemen's Association of New England. They do provide retirement savings plans, vision benefits, third-party liability insurance, etc., for all of their members. The Harness Horsemen's world, the drivers are part of the Harness Horsemen organization. So they fall under basically the same type of benefits that are available to trainers, etc. And in their memo, they describe all the different benefits that they offer. Since they're covered basically the same as other members of their organization, my recommendation for that is that the commission does not seem to, it doesn't appear that there needs to be a separate amount determined by the commission for the drivers. The thoroughbred industry is a little different. Typically, the jockeys do not belong to the Horsemen's organization, and that's similar to what happens in Massachusetts. The commission met earlier this year for a couple of different meetings in regards to a second statute, 128A, that provides for $65,000 to go to the organization that represents the majority of the jockeys for benefits to active, retired, and disabled jockeys. And the commission did determine through those meetings that even though Suffolk is no longer racing live, there was simulcast money coming in still, and that could be used to provide the $65,000. And so that money did go out to the jockeys, and the benefits for the jockeys that qualified under this for this year, we're going to be a little over $4,000, $4,300 and something. This is an increase over what they've typically received in the years before. The years before, it was around 2,000 to 2,300, around in that group. So in your packets, HPPA and the Jockey Guild both talked about a insurance plan that the HBPA provided for the jockeys that was above and beyond what the Suffolk Downs insurance provided. And they gave out between 1991 and 2019, the HBPA says they've spent over $5 million in payments for this insurance. And then out of that, the policies have paid out over $18 million in benefits to the jockeys in this time. So the Jockey Guild and the HBPA didn't pursue any funds for the jockeys out of the Racehorse Development Fund, since the HBPA was already providing this extra coverage for the jockeys. So what has changed now? Obviously, Suffolk's no longer racing live. The HBPA no longer has that policy because that policy was in place for in case jockeys got injured during racing, and since there's no racing, there's no need for the policy. So the question has come, should there be some money directed from the commission to the jockeys out of this fund? Let me say for not just on the thoroughbred side, but also on the standardbred side, I wish there was an unlimited pool of money. I know the needs are great for everybody. And so certainly in the perfect world, there would be unlimited funds and everybody could get whatever they needed out of those funds. And obviously, if we're taking some funds and giving them to one group, we're taking them away from another group. So looking at these, the HPPA does still have some of their funds for this project in reserve, about $300,000, which is prudent on their part because as we know, the racing is uncertain on the thoroughbred side. Even the amount of money that comes in from the Racehorse Development Fund can change. We saw this with COVID. So it's not like this is a bunch of extra money that they're squirreling away. This is basically a prudent business decision on their behalf. So looking at all these factors, it looks like they would be able to give a small amount of money to the Jockey Guild to pay out of this Racehorse Development Fund money that they receive. I'm suggesting $100,000 each. There's 4 jockeys that would qualify under this. Reminder that under this, we're talking about we're talking about active jockeys and disabled jockeys, according to the statute. And in the commission's earlier discussions about the 128A funding, Jockey Guild basically determined there was no way to really quantify what an active jockey was, considering there is no live racing in Suffolk. So for the purposes of our discussion today, we're only talking about the subset of jockeys that are disabled. So there's 4 of them. And if each of them was granted $1,000 out of the Racehorse Development Fund money, it would be $4,000 that the HBPA would give to the Jockey Guild to disperse to the jockeys. Do the commissioners have any questions at this point?
Commissioner Cameron, do you want to add to Dr. Lightbound's report and recommendations?
The only thing I could add, and certainly Dr. Lightbound can speak to this, is how much effort went into this item, meaning everybody cares about the disabled jockeys and what is the best way to move forward. There's no simple answer, but numerous meetings were held between the Horsemen's Association and I want to thank General Counsel Grossman, who really delved into this issue and was there with Alex in meetings to talk about the issues, to answer questions for those who didn't really understand the law, and the Jockey Guild. They have been gracious enough, and that this is an organization that really cares about jockeys, and that's all they've concentrated on for decades and decades. And they have, they do not benefit from assisting us in dispersing these monies. And they have been very gracious in their letters explaining and, assisting us as well as others, jockeys, horsemen, in understanding and helping us get to where we are. So I just wanted to point out how much work, and there is no one right answer or perfect answer, as Dr. Lightbound pointed out, but I think the explanation was excellent, and as well as the recommendations, I think make a lot of sense.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Brien, any questions or comments?
I don't. I'm glad that we allowed for further public comment and vetting of this, particularly for the people that are most knowledgeable on it. I hear Alex. I agree. I wish that the funding were greater and maybe a little more flexible in terms of what we can do and what they can do. But I think the recommendation she's making, given all the circumstances, it seems appropriate right now. And I thank her and everyone else who's been involved for the work in getting here.
I agree. Just a fact check, Dr. Lightbound, for the amount that the 4 jockeys would receive, be $1,000 today. That would be on top of the $4,333 for all 4.
Yes, and I should add, a lot of the HBPA members may only qualify for the $200 vision benefit. Some of them may end up topping out around $2,000 benefit of that. And so, just to keep that in mind, that the money, we have a lot of different constituents to consider in this. And so we don't want to take too much money from the HBPA. They've already had to drop some of their plans.
But it would be $4,333 plus $1,000 for the
exactly. They would still get their. They've already gotten their, or should have received their $4,300 from the 128A, and then this would be $1,000 on top of that through the 23K Section 60.
I want to point out too that this is a really hard decision because resources are limited. It's a little bit like a Sophie's choice, and I want to acknowledge that we appreciate very much all of those who contributed public comments, and those were all taken into consideration. I do understand that awarding one group may mean others get less, and that is difficult. I also appreciate the fact that the jockeys put themselves at considerable risk for our entertainment and for the benefit of the horse industry and community overall. And these 4 jockeys are all disabled. To the extent that this amount can help, and we know it's not a big amount, but it is an additional dollars of a limited amount, I hope that's helpful. And at the same time, I recognize that means that somebody else may get less. But again, given the risk that they took and the risk that they actually endured, I think this is an equitable recommendation and a fair recommendation. And I really want to acknowledge Commissioner Cameron's comments, because I know a considerable amount of thought went into this decision, and I think it will help us in the future. It will inform future decision making. So I think that you do need a vote today, Alex.
Yes, please.
I want to thank you, Dr. Lightbound, for the thoughtful recommendation.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I move for the reasons discussed today and outlined in the documentation in the Commissioner's packet in accordance with Chapter 23K, Section 60, Paragraph C, subsection III. I move that the Commission direct that the NEHBPA pay $1,000 to the Jockeys Guild this year. So that would be $4,000 total for each disabled jockey. I further move that the HHANE be directed to pay $0 this year for such purposes.
Just to clarify, it's a $4,000 total.
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you. 1,000 each.
Yep. Second.
Thank you. And if that motion needs any clarification to that point, Todd, I think if the minutes could reflect that, we're all comfortable with that. Thank you. Commissioner, and no further discussion with the 3 of us, I'm assuming that's the case. Commissioner Cameron.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote yes, 3-0. Thank you. Thank you, everybody for that important work. And also, Caitlin, thank you for jumping in yesterday when we had a question arise. Appreciate it very much. Takes a team. All right, now we're moving on to, this is a remarkably controlled agenda in terms of numbers. Mary Ann, I think you're appreciating that as well. Item number 4, Mark Vanderlinden, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I have 3 agenda items for you today. First will be an update on the Public Health Trust Fund, MOU, followed by a discussion about Play My Way, and then finally an update on the Addiction Subcommittee, which is a subcommittee of the Gaming Policy Advisory Committee. So first we'll tackle the Public Health Trust Fund. Chapter 23K, Section 58 establishes a public health trust fund with social service and public health programs dedicated to addressing problems associated with compulsive gambling, including gambling prevention and addiction services, substance abuse services, educational campaigns to mitigate the potential addictive nature of gambling, and any studies and evaluations necessary, including the annual research agenda, which is overseen by the Gaming Commission, to ensure the proper and most effective strategies. The trustee of the Public Health Trust Fund is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. In 2014, the MGC and the EOHHS entered into an MOU to memorialize the shared interests, goals, and responsibilities relative to addressing problem gambling and promoting responsible gaming. In the years that followed, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, acting on behalf of the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, has built considerable capacity to serve Massachusetts residents who are impacted by gambling-related harms, with a specific focus on communities disproportionately impacted by gambling. At the same time, the MGC has implemented several innovative initiatives aimed at promoting responsible gaming and reducing gambling-related harm. Additionally, as you well know, the MGC has established a comprehensive research agenda to study, assess, and prepare for the social and economic impacts of casinos in Massachusetts. Since recognizing the changing needs of each agency while maintaining a shared commitment to mitigating gambling-related harm, the MGC, the Mass Department of Public Health, and the Executive Office of Health and Human Services set forth to update that 2014 MOU. I've included that updated MOU that's been fully executed in the packet of material today. This was no small undertaking. The leadership of our chair, Judge Stein, Commissioner Zuniga, Secretary Sutters, and Associate Commissioner Lindsay Tucker. I also want to recognize the contribution of our General Counsel, Todd Grossman, in navigating and negotiating the MOU that was executed last month. So with that, I turn it over if there are any questions about the Public Health Trust Fund, the intention of that MOU, or really anything else.
Director, thank you for explaining that and also taking the time to explain how much hard work went into this agreement. That's noteworthy and sounds like an agreement into the future. So thank you for that, and thank you for everybody involved.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge Associate Commissioner Lindsay Tucker, who recognized that the benefits of the early arrangement were very well suited for the times, and now moving forward, this new arrangement will serve both entities well for us to each accomplish our missions and yet take advantage of those important intersections where we can collaborate successfully on behalf of the Commonwealth to advance all efforts around responsible gaming and mitigating problem gambling. And I acknowledge Mark Vanderlinden's leadership, as well as Victor Ortiz's leadership. There's been great growth over the last 2.5 years since I've been here, where we've recognized the benefits of that intersection. So it's a good step forward, and I appreciate, of course, Secretary Sutter's leadership here in acknowledging and executing the MOU. Thanks, Mark. If we can move on to Commissioner O'Brien, I don't know if you have any questions or comments.
No, I just know a lot of work went into it. So thank you for the update. And thank you again to everybody, Commissioner Zuniga as included, who participated in it.
If I may say just something closing on this. It's unusual for a gaming commission to be involved in developing and implementing a public health approach to mitigating gambling-related harm. And I think this commission has taken that mandate incredibly seriously. To even be a part of an MOU, be a part of a solution or a response the way that we have, I think is really important, and I think just a great step forward in how gaming commissions respond to these issues.
Excellent. Excellent. Moving on to item 4B.
Right. So let's talk about Play My Way. Last month, I had a presentation for you, updating you on the implementation of Play My Way. I come back today with some additional information, not necessarily good news, but we have a path forward here. So as you're aware, both MGM Springfield and Encore Boston Harbor are engaged or in an MOU with the Gaming Commission to implement Play My Way at each of their facilities. Play My Way, as you know, has been active at Plainridge Park Casinos since 2015. the development of Play My Way for the other two properties, MGM and Encore, required a significant amount of additional development because they use a different player management system. So we've been, the MGC, MGM, and EDH have been working closely with IGT to develop Play My Way and effectively at each of their facilities. Certainly, COVID has impacted the rollout of this. And in fact, it was originally scheduled to launch. There was an agreement within the MOU to launch in September of 2020. And COVID delayed that, and the commission agreed to extend that for MGM until September of 2021. As with many projects as technical as this, we hit a road bump in the development, and there was a technical issue that we discovered shortly after my presentation to you last month. It was my opinion, as well as with the advice of our director of IT, Katrina Jagro Gomes, and Scott Helwig, along with our partners at MGM, that this was a significant enough technical issue that we would not recommend that we would launch it in September of 2021. We've been working closely with IGT on a solution. And in fact, I got an update today that that solution looks like it's moving forward quicker than I had expected. But in the interim, we received a memo that I've included in your packet from MGM requesting an extension to that 2021 date to launch Play My Way. The extended date is now April 1st of 2022, with the understanding that we are moving this forward as quickly as we can. And with the attention to detail that is necessary, we will launch it as quickly as we can. I failed to mention, and I'm sorry, Daniel Miller, MGM Springfield Compliance Director, and Augustine Kim, Vice President and Legal Counsel for MGM Springfield, are on the line if the commissioners, if you have any questions at all. And so just to conclude, I think this is the right decision to delay. I think it would be my recommendation that we grant this extension request by MGM with the understanding that we will expedite this as quickly as we can.
Questions for Mark? Commissioner Cameron.
Yeah. Director Vanderlyn, and it sounds like you got some pretty good news today even, and so this may be, the technical issue may be able to be have a solution in place sooner rather than later, or is that, I wasn't sure if that's what you were trying to say.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Understanding that once this technical solution is in place and it's been installed, that there is significant testing of the entire system again, working with GLI, MGM, and our own gaming lab, that we would pay very close attention to making sure this fix actually worked and that it didn't create any other problems along the way. I don't have the technical language for that, I apologize. But there would be a significant amount of testing once that fix is in place.
Sure. Well, thank you. And it sounds like all parties are in agreement that this is the best way to move forward. I think any rollout, it's critical, right, to the use of it, that it runs smoothly, people have confidence in using it. So it sounds like a really good decision. And I think it's positive to hear that it's not just MGM, it's our team, it's the technical folks, everyone who agrees that let's make sure we get it right. So thank you for that update. Sounds like a sound decision.
Thank you.
Commissioner O'Brien?
Yes, I would defer to the people who are on the ground and the IT people involved in it. I would say, given what you said about good news 6 months out. For the request today, I think we should internally calendar this for maybe a 3-month check-in to make sure we're still on that trajectory, because it is, delayed in being implemented. So while I absolutely obviously defer to you guys on the ground in terms of what is a reasonable extension, I would want to have a calendar to touch base on this probably at the midway point if it's not launched by then, to make sure that there's nothing else that needs to be prioritized to make it happen at 6 months.
I think that's a great suggestion.
If I could just ask for a reminder, Mark, EBH has got a further extension. What is their expected rollout? Because I suspect EBH is going to be the beneficiary of some of this IT trials and errors that have occurred. Can you remind me of their launch date?
Yeah, that is certainly the case, that they will benefit from that. The MGC, the commission, granted an extension for EBH until September of 2022. So yes, September.
Okay. So I appreciate Commissioner O'Brien's check-in suggestion. Karen, if you want to, this is of course a cross-departmental effort, and it includes a third party. So if you could help monitor that, that check-in, I have to acknowledge that MGM has been a great partner in its responsible gaming efforts, and certainly in game sense and with respect to Play My Way, these technical roadblocks occur, and the most important thing is for us to get the technology right, so the program is right. On the other hand, it's such a great tool. I appreciate Commissioner O'Brien's sense of time recognition. We'd like to get this installed in timely fashion. So I appreciate the update. We didn't have it marked up for a vote, but I do think that it would be perfectly okay for us to vote on it without notice. I think we're all in agreement for the update. Commissioner O'Brien, do you think it's appropriate to go ahead and move?
Certainly. I would sort of amend my prior comment too. I think that the status of EBH should be included in that status check 3 months from now for the same reason.
Okay, good.
We can make sure everyone, to your point, if they're going to be benefiting from the work that MGM's putting in right now, maybe they can expedite the launching prior to that September 22 date also.
And certainly not extend it.
Correct.
Yeah. So do you,
for a language for a vote, Madam
yeah,
Chair?
do you have one? I think it's
Sorry.
okay that it wasn't marked up.
Madam Chair, for the reasons discussed today and outlined in a letter that is included in the Commissioner's packet, I move that the Commission allow MGM's request and extend the date for implementation of Play My Way as described in the MOU between the Commission and MGM, and extend the date to April 1 of 2022.
Second.
Thank you. Assuming no edits or questions, Commissioner Cameron.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote yes, 3-0. Excellent. Thanks for the update, Mark, and good luck to MGM and all parties involved. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And now you have the Addictive Services update.
Yes. So 23Q Section 68 establishes the Gaming Policy Advisory Committee to discuss and provide recommendations on gaming policy. That same section also establishes a subcommittee on addiction services to develop recommendations to address issues related to addiction services as a result of the development of gaming establishments in the Commonwealth, including but not limited to prevention and intervention strategies. The Addiction Subcommittee consists of 5 members representing the MGC, the Department of Public Health, the Mass Council on Gaming and Health, and 2 appointees by Governor Baker. Governor Baker has just recently announced his 2 appointees for this important committee, completing and activating the subcommittee for the first time. So these members include the Gaming Commission appointed me to represent represent our investment and interest in that. Victor Ortiz, Director of Problem Gambling Services at the Mass Department of Public Health, is the DPH appointee. Marlene Warner is the Executive Director of the Mass Council on Gaming and Health. The two governor appointees are really no strangers to the work of the Gaming Commission and of DPH, and they include Dr. Rodolfo Vega, who is a senior consultant at JSI. He has also done some really interesting research and work on understanding the impacts of gaming in Massachusetts, as well as Man Young Yao, or Yo-Yo, who is the Director of Programs at Boston Chinatown Neighborhood Center, also an incredible champion to try to understand the impacts of gaming on the Boston Chinatown neighborhood and more broadly throughout the region. She's been an incredibly strong voice. Dr. Rodolfo Vega and Yo-Yo Yao are the two Governor Baker appointees, and I think those were great appointees for this group. So, as the Gaming Commission appointee, I'm thrilled to be able to activate this group and work with them as we develop recommendations, understand what the evidence is telling us, and further a public health response to mitigate problem gambling and prevent.
If I could just add, Director Van der Linden, this subcommittee is a subcommittee under the Gaming Policy Advisory Committee. And of course, we're all familiar with the Subcommittee on Community Mitigation. And Commissioner O'Brien, the Subcommittee on Public Safety, is the second subcommittee under that advisory committee. And this rounds out the third subcommittee. So all three subcommittees are now fully activated. We will have the benefit of the expertise that comes from external stakeholders and experts to help advise us on our work going forward. So this is exciting news, and I know particularly exciting for Mark. So excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So does that conclude your report? I just want to ask first, any questions, commissioners? All set? Okay. Yeah, great news. And we'll stay tuned on the work ahead of the three subcommittees. Then we're on to Commissioner update. Karen, it's 10:55.
I know.
Just this is sort of magical for all of you who are attending to have a commission meeting hover around an hour, particularly with virtual. It's just really a well-being check-in for us, so thank you. Commissioner Cameron, you have a commissioner's update on the conference, which is just around the corner.
Sure. Yes. Next Monday, the conference, the joint conference kicks off. I gave a longer update last time. This is really a thank you. We had lots of our folks are participating, so thank you for that. I think we will add great value to those listening from around the world. Many of the attendees will not be able to travel here, but are participating virtually. So I think our participation will be well noted, and as that of all the other presenters. So the topics and the agenda for both organizations look really strong and timely. So I know I'm looking forward to it. I just want to thank all of our folks who have participated, volunteered to assist with this, and we'll be doing so next week, as well as a thank you to Director Lilios for her stepping in, adding her leadership for coordination purposes as well as decision-making purposes. So all around team effort. And I know I am looking forward to this event next week. I think there's well over 100 participants now between in-person and virtual. And I think the virtual numbers have gone up in the last week or so. So it will be in some ways well attended, just not in person as we expected here in Boston. and people are very disappointed they're not able to come. But we are trying to keep everybody safe. The organizations are very mindful of keeping everybody safe with masks, with distancing, with sanitizing. So I think for our people attending, I think you'll feel safe coming in and learning in this environment. So thank you to everybody.
Commissioner Kim, can you just, first off, a big thank you to everyone involved, including, Karen Wells is involved on the board of one of the organizations, which prompted her to have to recuse, but she's been a voice for international gaming the last couple of years, and that has been, I'm sure, informed the conference going forward. Her work is not disregarded, it's just been done according to our conflict of interest rules. So congratulations to you, Karen. I know your tenure might be, I don't know, it's 2 years or 3 years?
It's 3, but my tenure as treasurer ends this.
Oh, got it. Oh, and anyway, congratulations to you. Commissioner Cameron, for those of us, many of us will be attending because we want to hear all of the excellent panels and the speakers, and then also many of us are presenting. Can you tell us what the rules are with respect to COVID? Have they gone over that with you for mask wearing or? Well,
I know the plan, and this has been discussed with the hotel and with both organizations, is to have, the mask will be worn by those attending, and the panelists will be distanced and be able to give their presentations in a panel discussion without the mask. But
okay,
they will be distanced from not only the audience, but from one another.
Okay, that's really helpful. Commissioner O'Brien, do you have any questions? I know you're presenting.
No, I don't. Yeah, I will be there on Friday for the IMGL, one of those panel discussions, but I will probably be attending mostly virtually. But thank you for the other information in terms of when I am going to be there in person. I'm looking forward to it.
So the option is to attend virtually as well as in person. And for those of the group who are assisting, I hope that it's meaningful to you as well. With that, is Commissioner O'Brien or Commissioner Cameron, do you have any other updates?
No.
No.
Well, it's been historic to have just 3 of us anyway is always different, but to have 3 women in the gaming industry with an executive director and a deputy director who are also women, I'm going to recognize that as exceptional with respect to this industry. So thank you all for your leadership and your good work. And most of all, thank you for an 11 o'clock finish. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Commissioner Cameron.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
And I say vote yes, and thank everybody for your good work today. All interesting, and everybody stay safe. We'll be seeing many of you in person next week. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Aye. Thank you.